Stephanie Milky here, aka KetoMOM, or often called mom, sis, Steffi, daughter, wife, aunt, and friend. Just like many of you, I carry a lot of titles. My favorite title is mom. I should probably say wife, which takes a lot of my time. But let's be honest, if you want to do something and do it well, you will make the time for it. Commitment is hard because we find ourselves overcommitted, but when you practice prioritizing, you will find out what is actually important and what you can let go. With the KetoMOM podcast, you will learn together how to manage our time, commit to the most important things in life, and I will equip you with the tools you need to feel qualified each step of the way. My name is Stephanie Milky, and welcome to the KetoMOM Secrets podcast. Hello, welcome to the KetoMOM page. My name is Stephanie, and we are going through the book called Mind Shift. If you are brand new to this page, I would love to get to know you. Post new below so I can connect with you, figure out what your goals are, and help you on your journey. We go through a book, or my hope is to give you a thought to help you with your mindset. Morning, today's a little bit later, it's in the afternoon, because, just so you know, the chapter that we're going to talk about actually ties right into what happened in the last 24 hours of my life. So I'm super excited to share it with you. But as you're tuning in, tell me where you're tuning in from, and we're diving into this book. If you have the book, awesome. We are actually going to be talking about Mind Shift number 2. You don't need an audience. If you do not have the book, you can watch here. I would highly recommend that you go grab the book. You can go to Amazon, take a screenshot, grab the book. Super simple read, super insightful. It's going to shift your mind. That is the point. So here on the KetoMOM page, I want to help you understand about awareness and your mindset. If you believe that you can, you will. If you believe that you can't, then you're right. And so oftentimes I'm coaching people on what to eat and how much to eat and all of these keto thoughts. And I was just talking to some women today about intermittent fasting and how much food and what works for their body. But if you're not in the right frame of mind, if your mindset is not ready and there to actually achieve the goals that you want, if you don't believe that you can, if you're constantly running this negative narrative in your mind, you will not hit the goal. And so I would love to, we're going to walk through this book, and I'm not reading the book to you. So this is not like story time. In the very beginning, he tells a story, our author, Erwin McManus, and he's talking about you don't need an audience. And he basically walks you through his life of where he is today, but where it actually started, and how one opportunity, one decision to say yes, one moment in time that set the rest of the course up to where he is today. And he speaks all over the place. He started a church in LA, but he writes books. He's an author, he's a coach, he's a speaker. But this one thing that happened in his life, basically, he had never spoken to a huge audience like this. He went to an event, like a conference, to help his wife. And he says, he had never spoken to, a huge, large amount of, I think it was teens, youth at this event. And he was used to speaking like one-on-one, smaller groups, smaller settings, and the keynote speaker didn't show up. He was asked to get up and speak in front of 20,000 plus youth. Pretty sure it was youth. And he was like, in your mind, like if somebody were to say, think about something that you're passionate about, but if you were asked to take it to like the next level, would you be prepared? So he says, you don't need an audience. And how he says this, he goes, prepare for the unexpected, prepare to bring your best at any moment's notice, prepare for the impossible, prepare for your purpose. And so he starts this chapter off by going, what you do every single day, whether nobody watches you, whether your family's watching you, whether you're pursuing a goal and you're like, nobody sees me. He goes, the things that you're doing today is preparing you, I'm paraphrasing, for an opportunity in the future. I would even say it like this. Oftentimes, we'll talk about, I'll have people say, I don't have people that support me in my health journey. I don't have family members or a spouse, or my coworkers are constantly trying to get me to derail from my diet. But it's the things that you do in private that prepares you or elevates you or gets you past the barriers when other people don't see it. So he talks about preparing, speaking to smaller crowds and and all of the things that he did that he had no idea, whether it was to an audience of 1 or 20 or a smaller group, that prepared him for the one moment where he said yes, that opened up a door that completely changed his life. To 20,000 young adults, teenagers, that the Lord said, all right, you've been preparing for this. Don't get frustrated in what may seem lonely, what may seem mundane, what may seem like I'm doing this every day, day in and day out. Is it worth it? Should I keep doing it? And so he goes on, shares a ton of stories. And here's something that he says, I loved it. He goes, so the best part, he goes, here's what he started teaching people. He goes, I need you to focus on, because he's traveled the world. His wife does incredible missions work and goes into the deepest jungles and supports villages, and her heart is for people all over the world. But really, he goes, oftentimes people think that success comes to people that maybe are born in a specific area, right? He goes, success or opportunities aren't just for people that are born in a specific area among a certain environment. Some people will say, well, I was born in a poor environment, or it's not me. Or he goes, here's what I've realized as he's been traveling the world. He goes, here's what I teach people. The basic principles of successful and healthy people are taken for granted. He goes, I tell everybody, whether they're in a village in Africa or somewhere in South America or somewhere across Europe or Asia, wherever I go, he goes, here's the things that I help people understand. The simple things are, keep your promises, both to yourself and others. Make very few promises and replace them with commitments. Finish what you started. Only start what you are willing to finish. Be trustworthy, be grateful, be humble, take responsibility. As he's coaching people on what it means to be successful and healthy, it doesn't come to just those that are born in a specific part of the world. And I read that, I was like, oh, that's so good. These are great principles for everybody, right? As you're pursuing to be the best version of you. Keep your promises. He says, really, mainly make yourself commitments. Finish what you start. Only start what you're going to finish. Trustworthy, be grateful, be humble, and be responsible. And so as he goes through and he talks about all different people around the world, he goes, that's going to help people be the best versions of themselves. He goes, we believe we have achieved greatness just because, and then he goes on to this. He goes, oftentimes people don't want to keep going after the pursuit of the best versions of themselves. We feel like when people start watching us, or I don't have an audience, or who am I doing this for? Here's what I need you to understand, especially if you're like, whoa, I haven't thought about business or what success means to me. I'm solely here to lose weight. But there is a part where you've got to go, I'm doing this for the audience of 1, and maybe it's for you. And maybe it's the day in and day out, consistent routines, and you're like, nobody sees me. Am I actually physically doing something that's going to change my body? I'm not getting any acknowledgement. I mean, I don't need somebody to say good job, but it would be nice if somebody acknowledged the fact that I've lost 30 pounds. And he goes, you have to. Are you going to do it for you? Are you going to do it just because you're trying to capture an audience? He goes, are you capturing an audience, or is the audience capturing you? And he basically goes down this road of like, if you're only going to do it because you're, I don't want to read all these stories. Here's what I want you to understand in this aspect. What are you doing and why are you doing it? And you're not going to, and it might be, maybe you have big hopes and dreams for your business or for a nonprofit that you want to start, or maybe you're like, I'd love to do this in whatever you're passionate about. You need to go after it with everything that you like. It's preparing when nobody's watching you. It's being okay with that there isn't an audience yet, because you're preparing. And when the Lord opens the door, you will be prepared to walk through it. Does that make sense? Okay, a couple more things. He goes, I've learned that you don't need an audience to prepare for the biggest moment of your life. Commit to greatness when you have no audience. Discipline yourself and prepare yourself to be the best of what you do. Live as if today you may be given the greatest opportunity of your life. Be ready to step up when the call comes. Don't try to keep up with all of those who use all of your energy to pursue fame. You need to play the long game. You need to stay consistent. You need to do the things you know you need to do, regardless if people are watching you right now. I love that. He goes, stay the course. Greatness takes time, and it's in its early stage. It looks like practice. So for those of you who maybe you're like, I actually would love to help people in the health area, or I would love to achieve this. It's you working on you. It's those basic principles we talked about. It's you being the best version of you and doing the things when nobody's watching, right? You're eating well, you're taking care of your body, you're going to the gym, you're working on your mindset, you're preparing you so when an opportunity opens, you get to walk through that door. He goes, greatness is always grown in private. If you want to do what no one else has done before, you must be willing to do what no one is doing. If you need the applause to be great, you will never survive the process. If you need the applause to be great, you will never survive the process. The crowd will meet you at the finish line. They don't need to start with you. And don't pay the price of greatness for the praise of people. Do the work that no one sees. Do the work so that you can look at yourself in the mirror and know that you gave it your all, everything that you had. And I'm going to tell you something. I had the opportunity, and I just think this is fun, because we moved to Florida. We moved to Florida mainly, you do need this book. This is an incredible book. So we moved to Florida for a few different reasons. We do love Florida, but also for our children. I talk about our girls being involved in the youth, and like last night, they went to help set up the church for Wednesday night church today. So a small group of kids go on Tuesdays. They consider themselves leaders, and they get to be coached by the leaders, right? And so we moved here for our children, but we also moved here because I was like, oh, you know what? It's a bigger city. There's more opportunities. My hope is to grow our business. And so, yes, we did it for our children. Yes, we love the weather. And I and my husband, we were like, hey, I feel for the first week we were here, I said, where we lived in Minnesota, I felt like I was a whale in like a fishbowl. Like I felt like I knew everybody. And I just felt like it was just this teeny little town. And I really felt like I was a whale in the fishbowl. And about a week or 10 days into, yes, you do, Rosalie, and we'll have to chat. Rosalie says, I need to become a promoter. Yes! And we'll talk about that at the end, but I need you to hear this. When we got to Wellington, Florida, I told my husband, I said, man, I feel like an ant in the ocean. Like the amount of people, and I was a little overwhelmed, but super excited. Well, on Monday, I got a text message from a girl who helped us get this home. And we haven't talked since we moved in. And she said, hey, I would love to grab some coffee with you. I'd love to go meet and chat for a little bit. And I instantly made an excuse because Steve and I are actually heading out on a trip tomorrow with our company. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've got so much to do. We're leaving. Can we connect when we get back? And my husband was like, listen, that's an open door. You're fine. See if she can meet on Tuesday. So I messaged her Monday night and I'm like, hey, I can meet on Tuesday if that works for you. And she's like, yes, let's meet at 2:30. So I love people. Sometimes I still get nervous, even when I come on the KetoMOM page. Like, I love people, and yet I'm still like, what if she doesn't like me? What does she want to talk about? How can I help her? Is this a good connection? I was praying for connections for our business. So I went and met her, right? She's like, what are these ketones? What do you do? And we're chatting back and forth about life. We have a ton in common. We both have 14, 15-year-olds. Like, we both homeschool. She's a realtor. And so as we were chatting, I said, hey, how are you connected in this town, this big city? What are some things I need to do? I've got some lessons in this, so hold tight. Because I do the things day in and day out in my personal life, with my personal mindset. I get up when people don't see my husband and I I share a lot online, but like we go for walks and we read our Bible and we read and work on our own mindset. We listen to podcasts. Like we do the things every single day, no matter who's watching. We have for 8 years with this business. I've done different things in my business and connected with different people, and I've done the work that nobody sees me doing. So I said, hey, tell me the best way to get connected. And she said, hey, you need to go join the Chamber of Commerce for this town. So I got home, first action step. I went and I typed in the information, submitted my information for somebody to call me. Less than a minute, a girl named Michaela called me. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just submitted it. And she goes, yeah, it popped up. I wanted to connect with you. And I was like, this is amazing. And so she said, tell me what you do. I told her about Prove It. I told her about ketones. I told her how I want to coach women. I want to help women be healthy and live healthy, faith-filled lives. I just want to be me. And I want to connect with other women in this city. And she was like, oh my goodness, I do the keto diet. I need some of your ketones. And we're having a meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning. Can you please come in and meet with us? You don't even have to join yet. Just come in and chat and hear what it's all about. So another door was opened. And this morning I got up early and I went, and that's why I'm doing this a little bit later. And I went and met these women. And I need you to hear all of this, because if I would have, sometimes the Lord, whatever you believe, I believe the Lord opens up doors, and we can either walk through it or we can shut it and go, it's not right. I could have easily said, it's inconvenient, not right now. But I have been preparing for this. I have been praying for this. Like, we have been going, how do we get connected? And I could have easily went, like, if I shoved it off to next week when we got back from our event, I would have missed this 8 o'clock meeting this morning, which there were more. And just because you shut a door now, or maybe you're like, oh my goodness, I've shut the door in the past, doesn't mean the door is not going to reopen. Some doors won't. All I'm saying is, if an presents itself and you can do it, and it might be inconvenience, you have to look at it as like, I need to be adaptable. I've been looking for this and I need to walk through it. It doesn't matter if I'm afraid. I can switch the fear to being excited. I'm going to do it because I've prepared for it. I'm ready for it. I've been asking for it. This is what I've been wanting to do. So I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to go to this 8 o'clock meeting, meet these people that I was telling, I'm sitting around this table. And if you know me, you would say, like, Stephanie, the first word that popped into my mind, which is a negative word, I was like, I am so unqualified to be here. I mean, there's some incredible, powerful businesswomen. And there's a squirrel outside, so hold on a second. There are some incredible, powerful businesswomen in this room. And they are confident and they are excited about their businesses. And at first I was like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll just stick to my online. And then I was like, no, I wanted this. I wanted to connect. They're so fun. The ladies are so fun. And I just want you to realize that sometimes, yes, dogs, there are doors that are open to you often. You just have to have the courage to walk through, to not be perfect, to not compare. And if you do what he said in this mind shift on this, he says, you don't need an audience to prepare. Whatever it is that you're working towards, you're going to do it in private. You're preparing for your greatness in private until that door or that opportunity is opened, and then you've got to walk through it. So I got the opportunity to do that. I'm super, super excited because I went today and it opened up so many other doors for business, which is what I was asking for, to be able to connect with other women in this town where I feel like an itty little bitty ant in a huge ocean. And I'm really excited for the opportunity. Doesn't mean that I'm not nervous. Doesn't mean that I'm not like sweating profusely, but I'm going to do it. And so I'm just going to say this book is going to help you go, oh, I was closed-minded to that. I've never seen the world like that. I didn't realize I had that perspective. And that's what I want to help open up to you here on the KetoMOM page in the mornings, usually. And so today's lesson is you're preparing in private for when the door opens so that you're ready to walk through it and you're actually ready to do what you want to do. So I hope that I'm just believing that whatever it is that you needed to hear, that you take that and you take action. So I told the girls, that was the last thing I told the girls yesterday. We are passionate about business and helping our kids pursue dreams that they want to go after. And I said, there's a huge lesson in everything that happened. I made an excuse. Their dad, my husband saw an opportunity. We made the connections, got uncomfortable, had to move some things around in the schedule, and took action. The last part that I took action on is I went right away home, filled out the form to submit paperwork to get connected to new people. Oftentimes we'll go, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do that later, I'll do that next week, and then you forget until it rolls back around again. So if there's things you know you need to do, don't waste your time. Don't waste time. and get it done. So, all right, this is the book called Mind Shift. I'm super excited to continue to go through it with you. Thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters. And if at any point in time you need recipes, you need some KetoMOM coaching, you need to know how to get started physically with your health and fitness, go to ketomomsecrets.com, and I would love to chat. I know Rosalie was like, I need to join as a promoter. If you want to join my team, guess what? Comment promoter down below. What does that look like? It's what I'm going to be doing here in Florida. I'm going to be meeting with lots of women face-to-face, talking about ketones and health and how to be the best version of you. But our company actually has an incredible team and an opportunity where we get to learn and grow together. It's not just ketones, although these are amazing. If you've never tried them, post ketones in the comments. Like, it's a fuel source. I was talking to all the ladies today. They were like, what do you do? And I'm like, have you ever heard of the keto diet? I get to help share pure therapeutic ketones. I get to help coach women. I use a supplement. They're incredible. They put you in ketosis. So they're like, yeah, I've heard of that. I intermittent fast. I was like, these won't break your fast. My goal is fat loss. I'm like, awesome. This you can drink in the morning. It's going to help you with your energy, your focus, your appetite control. So I got to chat with some ladies this morning. I'm excited to chat with so many of you. If you've never tried them, just post ketone below and we'll chat back and forth. I'll give you some sciencey stuff so you can understand what it actually does in your body. I want to help you with your food, help you on your journey. But if you're already drinking them, like so many of you, post promoter in the comments and we'll chat about an opportunity where you can hop on Zooms with our team, meet in person, grow as a person, help grow your mindset, make some new friends, and create an income. So post promoter down below. I look forward to chatting with so many of you. Otherwise, we'll continue to go through this. Follow along. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later.